Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It's time for our weekly recap of Married at First Sight. This is season 13, episode 9, and it was titled, Could This Be Love? Alright, y'all, real quick before I jump into this recap review, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. And if you end up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button along with the share button. Alright, y'all, so excuse the head, the way these roots is set up. Y'all gonna get this scarf today. And then y'all gonna get it later on tonight for Love After Lockup. Because I think I'm gonna watch it and review it tonight. If I don't, I'll review it tomorrow. But y'all gonna get this scarf nonetheless. Anyway, with that out the way, because I don't want y'all, what you going on there? You know how some people be just typing just to be typing. It's just like, don't you got something else to do with your life? But anyway, y'all, I just wanted to get that out there. But another thing, I'm not sick of all these couples. Okay, all these couples getting on my nerves. It's just like, it's like this episode is a filler episode. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not a filler episode. This season is a filler season. It's like y'all just wanted to give us something, because none of these couples is none of these couples gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have high hope for any of these couples at all. And that's sad. You know, that's really sad because it's 5 couples and not one of them is giving me the good feelings that I got in past seasons. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know what I'm saying, go ahead and put it down in them comments. Because this is like a joke season to me. I'm not taking none of these people seriously. But, you know, with that out the way, let's go and jump into this recap review. Excuse me, y'all. So it took place between day 16 and day 20, I believe. Everyone, you know, they showing everybody saying good morning and stuff like that. We're going to start with Brett and Ryan. I will say they did have a barbecue where everybody met up towards the end. So I will talk about that towards the end. But Brett and Ryan, so they talking about having like a little game thing, just them two. And they're playing Jenga. And she says that she's getting feeling like the warm and tingly feelings between her and Ryan. But he tells us he's not really feeling that way. So he's not sure. He feels as though those feelings will come, but he's not sure when they will come. Excuse me, it's like something itchy in my throat. But he's not sure when they will come. He said, which I felt was something significant, because when what was this episode? He was talking to his friend. I think it was the beginning. Yeah. It had to be the beginning. Because he was saying like he falls in love early in like 30 days and yada, yada, yada. But when he talked to Ryan, not Brian, why do I keep calling this child Ryan? When he talked to Brett, he had said he wasn't sure if he had ever fell in love with anyone, and it takes him a while and so forth. But I'm like, in the beginning, before you even got matched up and met Brett, you said that you could fall in love with somebody within like the first 30 days or something. So he was like, remember, he was like, oh, these 8 weeks, I know I'm gonna fall in love, yada, yada, yada. But now it's like, oh, well, it take me a while. So to me, that's just telling me that you're not feeling Brett, and it's not gonna work out because you're not even feeling no type of feelings for real for her. They played Jenga and stuff, and she made like these cute little index cards, and on each index card it says something that she likes or adores about him, which I thought was really cute. She wrote, he's unapologetically himself, he's driven, work-minded, he likes to hold her hand, he speaks his mind, he's open to her, his muscles. And that's what he told us, that he didn't feel the sparks for her at that point or whatever. And he says he wants to, but he just hasn't had it. And he feels as though those moments or that time will come, yada, yada, yada. Then they had like the expert sent like a card, and it had like these questions about love on it. Everybody got the same card. Everybody got the same question. So we hopped to each, room, but I'll talk about it when we get to those people. When they was reading their cards about love and stuff, some of the questions was, have you ever fallen in love? How will you know when you're in love? What will it take for you to fall in love? I said, how have you ever been in love? What would it take? And there was some other questions like, how will you know you're in love? Something like to that effect. And I think it was maybe like 10 questions. It was just like a little blue index card, and it was typed on there. what he said that he wasn't sure if he fell in love twice. So twice he may have fallen in love, but he's not sure. She's certain she hasn't fallen in love. She said to fall in love, she wants to feel the reciprocation and that it's a mutual feeling. She told him that she's starting to feel feelings for him and what she feels for him and stuff like that. And he again told us that he's not there yet emotionally or physically, and he doesn't know what it will take for him to have those feelings for her. What else, child? He told her that in past relationships, like I guess his last relationship, he was with the girl, and I guess the girl fell in love with him or had feelings for him, yada, yada, yada. However, he took a long time to get to that point, and by the time he felt those feelings, she was like, deuces. It was, too little, too late type thing. So Brett is kind of worried, like, well, I'm a patient woman, but I'm not going to sit around all day, every day, waiting for you to fall in love with me. So, like, let's hurry it up type thing. And that was pretty much it. Marilyn and Gil, they could be like a cute couple if Gil gets past the fact that she makes more money than him, and she gets past the fact that he don't make more money than her. Like, if he get that out his head, like, dude, it's okay. Like, she make more money than you. She got a bigger savings account than you. She can afford the finer things in life and yada, yada, yada. You don't have to be on her level to be with her. And you don't have to break her down or try to get her on your level to be with her. She can still do the things that she want to do. You can still do the things that you want to do. And y'all could do things together as a couple and do new things together. Yada, yada, yada. But it's like he's stuck in that, oh, you bougie, you high maintenance and so forth. And she's stuck in, oh, well, you a stranger. I need particular things. I'm not getting out my comfort zone, so forth. So they just not going to make it. But if they were to put all of that stuff aside, they will probably be like a cute couple, but they won't, so they not. We see Marilla, she talking to Rachel and stuff like that, and Rachel was telling Marilla how her friend during the housewarming had got a good reading on Jose and that he was a good guy, and so that sparked Rachel up, and she said she was like on the verge of telling him that she loved him and stuff, but she not ready to, tell him quite yet. And then she saw that Marilla had like on a plastic ring. And so she was like, oh, your ring. And she was like, yeah, Gil had brought it for me because, when we work out, the real ring like hurts and gets swollen and stuff, but this is better and so forth. So she was like, oh, that's real cute. That's real romantic. Marilla like, a plastic ring. Yeah, my husband brought me a plastic ring. That's real romantic. Like if she get out her head, she can see what he doing for her. Like that was real thoughtful. He like, well, we married now. You still need to wear your ring, but let me get you this plastic ring because I don't want you, feeling without your ring. And so, like, she ain't even thinking outside the box. She just downplayed it and was just like, oh, it was a plastic ring. He's real romantic. So she's annoying like that. We see Dr. Pepper. She told us all about falling in love, yada, yada, yada. Then that's when they get their card. We see that they both say that they were in love with someone, and they, I think it was Mirla, because I watched this last night, but I just didn't feel like recording it. Mirla was saying how she wants to experience life with someone, be with them all the time. That's how she knows that she's in love. And she's saying like, she'll be there for them. Like you just want to be in their presence all the time. And she was telling him that for her to fall in love with him, he just needs to be actionable. And she had brought up like a scenario of chocolate chip cookies, saying like, you like chocolate chip cookies. I know you do because you eat them all the time. But so I need to see that action. So if you say you want to do this, I need to see you do that in real life for me. So it was like a cute little thing. And then they started bantering about cookies and stuff. So it was whatever. So then she had also said that she feels as though love is more than a feeling. It's a choice. So you have to choose to fall in love with that person. So he kind of sort of agreed, but it seemed like he was more on feeling, but he did kind of agree with it being a choice to open up and love that person. Then we saw him giving her like a foot massage. Oh, he also said that he feels as though, because she asked him, do you feel like you're falling in love? And he was saying like he's on the route to falling in love, but he's not quite there yet. But he knows he's in that path or in that lane to reach falling in love. I don't know if did he ask her, because we already know she ain't in love, child. I can't remember if he asked her, because I didn't write it down. We see him giving her a foot massage. Of course, she downplaying the foot massage, talking about he ain't doing it right, and she rated it a 5 out of 10. I said, he said that he be trying to please his wife, but she real particular about things, so it's hard to please her and all this other stuff. I said, girl, she just lighten up. Like, lighten up, child. How long was she single before she got married? Like, she just lighten up. I just be wanting to shake her sometimes. Then they went out to eat. And I think this was after the cookout. But they went out to eat, and she took him to, like, some restaurant where it's, like, these pretty little fancy drinks, like the wine glass says Chanel No. 5, and he got, like, a mule drink or whatever. And he really wasn't comfortable with the restaurant. It was a high-end restaurant. Of course, you know, that's extra money and stuff. So he, like, probably counting his money in his head, like, wait a minute, I don't know if I can afford this. Because, you know, the meal probably a little puff of smoke on the plate, and that's $50 or whatever. So he, like, he calculated it. So then he was saying, like, the place was too bougie for his taste, and he was trying to tell her, like, why can't you buy the knockoff alcohol and stuff. I say again, why she gotta buy the cheap stuff? Because you can't afford the more expensive stuff. She can afford it, so let her purchase the more expensive stuff. If it's not breaking your household account, what's the problem? So he was saying, like, he's not a component of eating out, because she wants to eat out, go on dates twice a month, which I don't feel like that's a lot. Go on dates twice a month, but she wants to do brunch because she's a brunch person, and she wants to do brunch, at least every Sunday. So he like, well, that's a lot, you know, that's too much. Twice a month, every Sunday, that's a lot. I like to cook at home and all this other stuff, and I'm like, maybe brunch is too much. Maybe go brunch once a month, out to eat twice a month. That's a good compromise. But cook brunch at home. Maybe he cook a little brunch or do a little mimosa at home. They had their own little home brunch or whatever. Because she just basically said she wanted him to be her brunch partner. So, like, if he's still having brunch with you, I mean, no, it ain't no fancy restaurant. You ain't getting bottomless mimosas and yada, yada, yada. But you still having brunch. You see what I'm saying? But he asked her, like, why did you invite me to this restaurant and stuff? And she was like, well, because they got cute drinks and stuff. And he was like, well, did you think that I would like it or whatever? So she didn't even, like, consider him when she picked the restaurant. She just picked the restaurant because she liked the restaurant. She said, like, I ate here before and they had pretty drinks, so, you know, I wanted to bring you to the restaurant. So he got all of his feelings and stuff and saying, like, he just wants to feel wanted and he wants the consistency and stuff, and he doesn't want her to be married to him just because of the thought of being married or whatever. So you could tell on her face she was kind of annoyed with it. And I understand him wanting to feel wanted and stuff. I mean, she invited you to the restaurant. Maybe she didn't know if you would like the restaurant or not. I mean, I don't know. Just because Gil, I swear, it's like they just want to find differences in each other. I mean, they do obviously have differences in each other, but it's like they want to find an issue. Like, he wanted to find an issue with the restaurant because he couldn't afford the restaurant. So now it's like, I don't feel wanted. You didn't consider me. I don't want to just be an accessory on your arm type thing. I know that's how I took it. But if she had picked another restaurant that she never been to and it was like a new experience for the both of them and whatever, he probably would have still felt issue with that restaurant because, oh, this too much money. Now, if it was the hole in the wall and they sold dollar hot dogs and Coca-Cola out the fountain, he would be happy because he could afford that. So I feel as though it's more on finances versus her not putting him first and all this other stuff. Because if he could afford the restaurant, I don't even think it would be a problem. But the fact that he got to keep pointing out to us that she bougie and she high maintenance, like, we already know that. Like, what else you going to say? Like, what else is you going to say, sir? Because, like, it's more important things than her being high maintenance and bougie and she can afford it versus you not getting no affection versus she not kissing you, holding your hand, y'all not having deep conversations. Like, what? Like, you just going to keep focusing on that? Or you gonna focus on other stuff? Because I'm tired of hearing about it. Let's move on to Michaela and Zach. They another couple getting on my nerves. So Zach is finally back in the apartment, and he feels as though he has to tiptoe around her in the house because she blows up or whatever. So he explains to her, oh no, I'm sorry. He explains to us, like, after the housewarming, when he went home, he texted her just to let her know how he was feeling. And she responded with a real childish response, like, well, you can't text me from this number no more, or don't call me from this number no more. Here go a new number you can call. Well, here's a new number for you. Just text me. Don't call me. Yeah, like, yada, yada, yada. So he like, what the hell is her issue now? So he didn't really like her response. So then they sit down, child, and then they got to talk about it. And so he want to talk about how her responses affect him. He want to give some analogy about him being underneath this tree. He reading this book. This one bee come, and then he like, go away, bee. I'm trying to read this book. Another bee came, and he was like, come on now. Should I leave this spot because it seemed like it's a lot of bees over here, or should I continue to read this marriage book? And then he sits and continues to read the book, but then all these other bees come. So then he like, you know what? I'm out of here because there's too many bees in this area, and yada, yada, yada. So she looking like... So he was saying like the bees is how she handles situations and conflicts, and she was saying like, but you act like I just blow up for no reason. Like, you gotta look at the cause of my reaction. Like, what are you doing to have me react this way or whatever? And I kind of see what she's saying, because that happens in relationships, been there and done that. However, you can't blame somebody else for your reaction. Like, just, you gotta figure out what your reaction gonna be. Just because they came at you like real sideways or didn't do something or whatever, you gotta pick how your reaction is gonna be in order to effectively communicate what you need or what you needed at that time. Like, her blowing up, that's just an initial response that she not really taking the time out to think like, oh, you know what? Let me take a step back. Let me calm down. And then let me come back to the situation, because she just initially responding because he like really pissing her off. Like, you just leave out the house, you don't respond, like you don't text me, you don't call me, you don't do nothing, but you expect me not to get mad, and then you leave. Like, I don't know what you did. So yeah, I can understand her having a reaction, but the reaction was wrong. You know, y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, she could have reacted a different way. Like, let him know, like, look, instead of her leaving, packing up, leaving, she could have been like, you know what? You had really irritated me or annoyed me because you left out. You were gone for 2 hours. I didn't know where you were. You didn't text me. And when I text you, you did not respond. When I called you, you did not pick up. Like, that's the problem for me. And we cannot continue to go through that. And then he could have responded. And then, you know, they could have kept, you know, having a conversation. But instead, she left. And then after the house, and then she canceled the housewoman. And then after the housewoman, she wanted to be like, oh, don't text me on this number. Text me on this Google phone number and all this other stuff. So she was wrong with her reaction. However, he does need to look at himself and see like why she was upset too. So both of them play a role in that, and she trying to help him see that. And he like, well, you gotta work on your conflict because I can't keep working out like this. And she was like, well, this is a new relationship. And he was like, that's bullshit. The new relationship ain't got nothing to do with how you handle conflict. Like, we are who we are, and I cannot get over the way you handle conflict. That's a red flag for me. Like, you need to be able to communicate effectively, and he needs to be able to communicate effectively too. So she agreed with him. They try to figure out how they're going to fix it going forward and stuff. And he was just like, well, can you just tell me what I'm doing wrong? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And she was like, well, you can't talk to me. So, like, communicate. Like, you want me to communicate with you, but yeah, you ain't saying nothing to me. Like, talk it out. Like, I can't read your mind, and I'm not going to keep fitting to ask you what's wrong, and you going to keep telling me nothing. Like, we not doing that. So she basically said that she agreed to communicate effectively. They went out to dinner and drinks and stuff, and they was answering the questions, and they both said no, they have not been in love. She was saying like she could have been in love, but the relationship ended ended weirdly or whatever. Like they moved away, so because they was long distance, she couldn't fall in love with them. I was just like, okay, girl. But he was like, oh wow, I'm kind of jealous because he never thought that he could fall in love with anybody because he has like this long ass checklist. So she asked him about the checklist, child. He was like, well, look, ambitious, intelligence, adaptability, trust, honesty, loyalty, how the person handles conflict, so them being mature. And she was just looking like, she was looking real concerned. At first, I thought, like, is she disinterested because she looked like she was zoned out somewhere or whatever. But she was just saying, like, she was worried because, like, will she match up to the list that he got, this laundry list that he got or whatever. So, she's not comfortable with the list. But they both say that they hope that they could get back on the same page. The night was good and they want to both try to fall in love or whatever. I don't know, child. No, she said that she was beginning to fall in love, which I felt was weird because she said, because they only been married for 2 weeks. That's what it was. They only been married for 2 weeks. And she said, because I think it was the question was, are you falling in love or do you feel like you're in love? And she said, I was beginning to fall in love in the beginning. And I said, because she said a couple weeks ago. I said, girl, y'all only been married 2 weeks. Like, what? So when you saw him, you was in love with him? Like, girl, that's a little cuckoo. But then he was like, so what happened? She was like, well, now I'm guarded because of the last couple of days or whatever. And it made me take a step back. And he was like, oh, okay, I understand that or whatever. He didn't say if he was falling in love with her or not. But he did say that the night ended good and so forth like that. They did have like a little cook thing with this chef via Zoom. Child, she couldn't even boil no water. I said, girl, who don't know how to boil? You put water in the pot and put it on boil. You turn the stove up and child, she didn't know how to boil water. She was just, the seasoning that she was just like, I said, damn, she gonna come up off that salt. That's high blood pressure right there. Like, I said, he better pour some water on that. He better wash them noodles off. Because every seasoning she got, she was just like, I was like, girl, that's enough. Child, he bit that damn, I think it was shrimp scampi. He bit into that shrimp scampi. He was like, oof, child. He just a little spicy, Whew. He was sweating. Shit was so spicy. I was cracking up. But that was pretty much it for other than the cookout. Bao and Johnny. I'm telling you, all these couples getting on my nerves. So she cooked for him. The food looked good. They all kissy and stuff. I said, okay. He was scared. They was having a conversation about how he was scared and stuff. And she was just basically saying, like, why do you always have to tell me that you are tapped out if this was a dating situation? And he was like, well, I just want to let you know where I am. And you know how I'm feeling or whatever. And if this was a dating situation, like these are red flags that we need to rectify and stuff. And so she was like, well, it's not making me feel good that you keep saying, like, if this was a dating situation, you would tap out and stuff. So he was just basically like, well, if you got a question, just ask me and stuff. Because she was just making assumptions about certain things. Like, well, I don't think you'll do this. Because she was saying something about his heart, like, I don't think your heart is in it, I think you want to leave and stuff. He was like, well, won't you just ask me the question versus judging me and making assumptions? And so she was like, well, what did she say? She was saying, oh, why do you need to say you need to end things and stuff? It doesn't make me feel good. And he was like, well, you know, it's just the arguments and how I feel and yada, yada, yada. So he was just kind of, because she was still talking and he not really listening to him, because he was basically like, listen, ask me questions, stop assuming things about me. Like, you assume that you know me after 2 weeks, and girl, no. So I think in the interim she said she was going to ask him questions and stuff like that, but he felt the disconnect and he wanted to, you know, try to get them together. The questions came. They both said yes, they had been in love before. She said it takes a lot for her to fall in love. She needs somebody that's open and honest, and they both expect that from each other. And then they would accept the flaws and all and stuff. And child, it came up somehow. Sex came up, and he was saying like he didn't learn about it from his parents. He learned about it in middle school by watching Henty. I said, anime porn, like what? So of course she thought that was funny, and they at the time they was both drinking wine and stuff like that, child. So they was a little frisky. And then they was saying like, what will it take for you to fall in love? And that's basically them finding more common ground, both having a give and take type of relationship, and them being more on the same page and stuff. And that's what Bao had said. He was just looking at her with his old champagne hazed eyes, like, damn girl, I could take you down right now. Like, that's how he was looking at her. And basically, that's what they did. They bowed Chicky Wow Wow, child. We saw her. She was playing Big Spoon. He had removed the pillows in between them, child. Then we saw Bao. She set up like this little bar night or whatever in the apartment. And then she had like samples of beers. And she said some fried chicken was on the way. She made up a cute little dart game. And I think that was it. And they just was having fun playing darts and talking. And then, of course, they was like, well, we may or may not have Bao Chicky Wow Wow. And then he was like, you know, it was awesome. And so the bet for the dart game was if you lose, whoever loses, they got to make the decision. What was it? Because he said, if you lose, I get to pick what we do in the bedroom. If you lose, you get to pick or whatever. So she lost, so he got to pick. She was like, oh my God. But, you know, they was, child, whatever. Because he said he liked to do vanilla sex, so it probably wasn't nothing too wild. And then they both say they ain't like anal or something, child, so they ain't going too much. They having that Caucasian sex. I will never forget that. Anyway, that will never not be funny. Anyway, then we saw them having like this reenactment of the fine arts day, because remember they were supposed to go to the fine arts and stuff, but he stood her up or ghosted her or whatever. They painting a cute little picture, child. She's taking it too serious. It's getting on Johnny nerves. He like, oh my God, why is she making this so serious, a competition? She like, oh my God, no, I need to move that up a little bit. Oh no, your line is high. Let me move that up higher. I said, girl, don't nobody care if you don't just paint this picture. But he was like, well, you know, we got the Prosecco. Like, I'm trying to get her litty so we can bow Chicky Wow Wow again. But she was doing the most, and it was kind of ruining the mood. But the pictures came out real cute, and they did end up hugging at the end. Rachel and Jose, they end up doing goat yoga. Hell no, because them little goats be pooping on people. I synced it before. But they had a little good time. He ended up petting the baby goat like a baby and stuff. And she's like, oh, you're going to make a perfect father. Oh my God. And whoever puts the goat to sleep, because she had a baby goat too. Whoever puts the baby goat to sleep first will be putting our kids to sleep. I was like, girl, it's a goat. So she said she could see herself falling in love with Jose. They was sitting down in the kitchen and they was just talking. And Jose likes to talk. He could go a mile a minute, and when he starts talking, child, I zone out. So she was talking about him being a better listener. And he gonna try to put it on where he a man, and you know men don't really listen, and I'm gonna try to be a good listener. She was like, well, you like to talk. He was like, yeah, I do like to talk, and like I'm gonna listen. Like maybe you gotta remind me about 2 times to listen, and then I'll listen and stuff. Ain't nobody got time for that. How old is we? Like, okay, you know I'm talking. Listen to what the beep I got to say. But she said she gonna do it, and she gonna let him talk as long as he want to talk, as long as he listen to her. I said, girl, more power to you. They had a conversation about the love. And this where he ticked me off with this child. He was saying they got communication issues and all that other stuff, and he get distracted, yada, yada, yada. They talking about love. He said he's never been in love before. And he was in like a strong like. He was with somebody for 4 years. And he said he couldn't fall in love with her or be with her because she had kids. And he wanted kids from scratch. He ain't want her kids to be his stepchildren or something like that. So he couldn't fall in love with her. I said, you was together for 4 years. And then he said he couldn't see himself married to her. So you knew matter of fact, you knew day one. Because I'm sure day one, I know date one, I'm telling you, look, I got 3 kids. I don't want no more churn. Look, we ain't adopting. We ain't surrogating. We ain't doing nothing because I already got enough churn and I don't need no more. I'm sure, I hope this lady had told this man that she had churn. So you knew date one that she had children. So you knew already that you wasn't going to be interested in this lady because she had her own children. So why would you waste 4 years of this lady goddamn time? Like, that pissed me off so much. I was just like, did he really say this on TV that he was with somebody for 4 years, but he couldn't be with her because she had children? So you just wasted 4 years of her life. I hope this lady see this and... Anyway, so they sitting at the table. They making these Scrabble coasters and stuff, these little coasters, and they putting Scrabble pieces on it. It was real cute or whatever. She was like, well, did you find anything interesting in anything I said? And I thought she was talking about on the love thing, because she was saying like she was shocked that he's never been in love. And he was like, oh yeah, the cheating thing. You had said on the boat that you had cheated before. And he wanted to know the story. So she said she was in an 8-year relationship. And in year 2, she cheated with her partner. She went out to a bar. She met somebody that she knew. Bada bing, bada boom. You know, they did it. She told her partner the next day. The partner forgave her. And they continued to be together for 6 more years. He like, oh, okay. And he was like, well, he tells us, he would never forgive a cheater. So if she did that to him, he would be out. And he also tells us that once a cheater, always a cheater. Then he said something about, there was some analogy he used, and I was just like, what? And now what I wrote was, his analogy was horrible. That's what I wrote. And then he was asking her, like, how can he be comfortable when she go out for a girls' night or whatever? Like, how do I know you're not going to cheat? She was like, well, you just going to have to trust me or whatever. And then we saw, like, a little scene where she had ended up telling him that she was in love with him. I said, Lord, girl. And he had said it back to her. I said, oh, okay. So then at the barbecue, Jose had made up a barbecue, him and Rachel, at his place. So everybody had went to his place or whatever. Mirla was basically like, I don't do barbecues. I don't go out to people's houses and stuff. So this will be, I'm glad they invited us or whatever. But this will be the last time I come all the way out to their house in the country. Or the middle of nowhere. I said, well, damn. They was having the conversations. They was just asking, Gil if he got any kisses yet. Of course, he said no. They was saying if anybody said they was in love. And then they was placing bets on who would fall in love. For the most part, everybody thought Johnny and Bao would be the first people. But it was actually Rachel and Jose. Then they took a tour of Jose. Well, they kind of dispersed in 3 different groups. So one group was Brett, Gil. I want to say Mirla. No, Mirla was not with Gil. Brett, Gil, Jose, and it was somebody else in that room with them. Then it was Michaela, Rachel, and somebody. Who was with her? Bao. And then outside it was Johnny, Ryan, and somebody else, child. I think Zach was that. Yeah, Zach was outside too. And who was inside? Who am I missing that was inside, child? Michaela, Gil, Mirla. Where the hell was Mirla? Was she in the room with them? I don't know. I know it was 4 people in the bedroom, 3 people outside, and then 3 people inside. They was all having their different conversations and stuff like that. And what the Rachel brought up that Jose likes to talk a lot. And then we saw a scene with him just yakking, child. And I was like, is they listening to him? Because he was just going on and on and on. Rachel was saying like she felt like she was about to drop the L word. Michaela was saying like how they hit lows, but now they probably on the right track. Zach is hopeful. Bao said that she can be very dominant. And she was saying like her and Johnny can be very dominant and it kind of clashes with each other. And then Johnny was saying like they nitpick because they so similar or whatever. And he thinks they kind of turned a corner. And then they was like, well, yeah, you look kind of better and stuff like that. And then Ryan was saying like he told Brett about his doubts and stuff, and then he was telling them how he's still waiting for a feeling. Brett was telling the people in the bedroom how Ryan hasn't told her, you know, that how he feels and stuff. And then she was just voicing her feelings, and they basically was like, well, girl, you need to tell him exactly how you told us what you saying and stuff, and not get your time wasted. Because I think she brought up how he takes his time to tell how he feels about somebody, and they was like, well, you don't want to waste your time, so you need to know how he feels and voice your concerns and stuff. And that was pretty much for the episode, y'all. Y'all let me know. Like I said, I'm pretty much over these couples, but I just want to see what the outcome going to be. And next week's episode look like it's going to be... this thing go up and down. So it looked like it's gonna be quite interesting. And Rachel was talking about something, she don't love him no more. So I don't know what that was about. Maybe that's just editing thinking, making us think it is something else. But child, who knows? But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all feel about each couple down there in them comments. Let me know what y'all feel about this show. If you are not subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. And if you ended up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button along with the share button. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later on for Love After Lockup. Until then, peace.